Welcome back to 49ers First Takes, everybody. Soon to be called 49ers Unfiltered at some point down the line. I am back with Mike from SF Gold Rush. We're going to talk about the new defensive coordinator hire and what Mike's and mine's feelings are on that. We'll talk a little bit of, I wanted to touch again on the Jed York v. Eddie DeBartolos talk that we kind of touched on last week, because I found a video today from someone I don't necessarily like too much, but he made a lot of great points that I want to touch on the video, and then I want to get Mike's opinion on it. So if you're into the chat, drop a like, drop a subscribe. You could go to Mike's channel, SF Gold Rush, and do the same thing. His name should be in my description of the video. And let's talk a little 49ers off-season news. Last week, we were talking about who could be the defensive coordinator, and just a couple days ago, we got our answer. The 49ers are going with Raheem Morris, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons, coached on a Super Bowl winning Rams team, and he's been a litany of other places. Worked with Kyle Shanahan many years ago, so they're really close. But things are not always what they seem. And with me and Mike, we're going to be completely honest with you. So, Mike, how are you feeling about the move after you've had a chance to digest it? What's your honest feelings about the Raheem Morris selection as a defensive coordinator?
Oh, all right. Well, let me say, when I first heard the news, my first initial reaction was, thank God it's not Gus Bradley. Yeah. So that was the positive spin. And then, honestly, I didn't really know too much about Raheem. So I had to just look up just general stats about him real quick. And that's when my heart sank a little bit. And I had no idea. I thought, from his reputation, from like how people were talking about him, I was like, okay, this guy is like a defensive guru. But then I looked up at, his career and where his defenses have placed. And, there's a lot of different factors, but I'm just overall where they have placed most likely. None of them have gone top 10. The highest that I was able to find was he finished 14th during the 2021 Rams Super Bowl victory. And that was a little disheartening because they had Aaron Donald, they had Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, and they had a couple studs on there. And I was like, that's as high as they went. And the year prior, when Brandon Staley had that defense, they were like, I think, number 1 overall. So that means Raheem brought them down from a top defense to mid-pack. And I was scared. So the more I look into it, the more I'm just a little concerned, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance because when something first happens, your first reaction usually is excitement, and I'm still quite excited. I'll tell you why is because the Niners tend to do, at least lately, they tend to do the thing that's the easiest, or the path of least resistance, or the choice that we do this with free agency sometimes, and we do this with like the draft. We get all these ideas in our head and what things could be and who they could take and blah 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 blah. And the Niners never do any of those things,
Yeah.
And I think with this particular situation, you and I both picked
Gus Bradley, right?
To come back, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, your first initial reaction is a super positive reaction because it's not Gus Bradley. And you look at it and you have to say honestly to yourself, like, the Schwartz situation with Cleveland is super unresolved still. So
yeah,
the Niners couldn't sit there and wait for that situation to unfold because that would be stupid. So they did choose the best of the defensive coordinators out there. But
True.
if, like you said, if you break it down and you look at it and you really go over it with a fine tooth comb, yeah, statistically not great defenses, at least ranking underneath them. I wonder, because he's here, because he only has to worry about the defense, and how everything really here is a collaborative effort. And he is a player's coach. Um, I wonder if that will have any effect on things. We talked about drafting when he was with LA and how they started to kind of rebuild that young defensive line. So there's that. I mean, it's tough because like Schwartz is everybody's perfect fit. Aggressive.
Yeah.
He's the Kyle Shanahan killer, and anybody who has an offense that is Kyle Shanahan esque, he causes a lot of problems for. But that was never going to happen. And it's funny if you look at just through our division right now, all the coordinators, everybody is somehow connected with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, of course.
It's
the
crazy
thing is, Aaron, is I'm reading rumors that Kubiak is trying to pull him to Vegas. So you're talking about a Kyle Shanahan offense pulling, their own kryptonite with him to Las Vegas. And that would just piss me off because I'm like, why didn't we do everything we could to pull him over here? And I get it. You don't want to sit and wait on your hands because what if you miss out and then Raheem finds another job and then you're kind of stuck with a Swanson part 2. But I'm just a little, I don't know. If he goes to Las Vegas, I'd be kind of mad.
I mean, as long as he's not staying within the conference, that's always a good thing.
Touche.
You talked about Philly moving on possibly from Mr. Fangio, and that you said that it would be the perfect replacement to go there. Trusty defensive coordinator going to Philadelphia. He fits their attitude. He fits the personality of that team. He's super unlikable, Schwartz.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sirianni and everybody else on that side of the freaking world.
That would be perfect. Yeah.
He would be perfect. I wish he could have been the guy, but I am reasonably excited for Raheem Morris. I talked about fresh ideas, new ideas. The Niners, if they would have taken Gus Bradley, essentially DeMeco Ryans, and Robert Saleh, they're all from the same tree, doing the exact same defense. So he's very multiple. He's been known as a 3-4 guy, but he can run 4-3, even a 3-3-5. So in that way, and I talked about this after the season, would like to have a guy come in. They actually could show some variety on defense and show some different things. And he has the ability to do that. So,
but how much are they going to show? Like, how much leeway is he going to get with the defense? Like, I cannot see them rebuilding this thing into a 3-4. I cannot. Number one, Nick Bosa would say absolutely hell no. I'm not standing up. I am rushing with my hand in the dirt.
Which there is ways you can run those defensive lines that way. There is ways. I mean, remember they ran a 3-4 back in the 80s, late 80s, and Charles Haley would sometimes line up what they call the elephant position. Wide of the the nose. You have your nose tackle and you have your two. I forget exactly what they call them in the 3-4. Your defensive ends. So I mean, there can be
linebacker.
No, so you would have your interior nose tackle, and then your two ends technically would be nose tackle-esque, or defensive tackle-esque.
Okay.
And then all your pass rush really comes from your outside two guys, whoever is opposite Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
But Haley used to line up what they would call the elephant position, which is like you'd have your 3-down lineman, and he would kind of be off on one side to rush. Sometimes hand in the dirt, sometimes standing up. So that would be interesting. I would love to see that. But Peter Parker says he really likes the Raheem hire. I would love to hear your reasons why you like the Raheem Morris hire.
Yeah.
I wanted to get some input from people. Whoever joins, either you can talk later on in the stream if you see it on replay, and you could put it in the comments. Like what is it about the Raheem Morris hire that excites you? To me, number one, it's not Gus Bradley. They didn't settle.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
One of the things we talk about all the time is like sometimes things have to go so bad for a change to happen, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like with Miami. Miami finally pulled the plug on the coach. the GM, and they're going to rip the Band-Aid off with the quarterback as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes things just have to go as bad as possible. So things didn't go as bad as possible per se with the 49ers record-wise this year, but defensively, they took massive step back. A lot of it was injury. A lot of it was young guys. A lot of it was not a lot of depth. So him coming in with fresh eyes, fresh ideas, more talent is going to be infused into this roster. It would be nice to see what he could do with it. And maybe he could finally get that top 10 defense with the 49ers based on personnel, based on, other contributing factors.
Track record shows otherwise, Aaron, even when he had studs.
But what is Kyle Shanahan's track record so far? He's the guy that can't get it done, right?
Yeah.
That's his track record.
No, I get
until he gets it done.
But
and then his track record will be
done. He almost gets it done. But Raheem has stayed. So we'll go over the past couple years. All right, let's go. 2025 defense finished 14th. 24, they finished 21st. 23, they finished 20th. 22, they finished 22nd. 2021 Super Bowl Rams, they finished 9th. So they did finish top 10. 2020, he finished 20th. So track record shows that he has to have elite talent to get into the top 10. Niners don't really have those kind of horses right now. And especially if he wants to transform the defense into something different than the wide nine, which I don't know if they have to get approval from Chris Kasarik. Maybe that's why they brought Raheem in, because they're like, hey, you're going to work with this personnel because, they're married to their position, guys, no matter what.
Not necessarily, because Bullock's the defensive backs coach. He's gone. So they are going to have a new DB coach come into this team. And we don't know what other coaching or assistants under Morris could change. David McNews says he's aggressive. He blitzes a lot more. He plays more man, not as much soft zone. He does. He shows different things that Saleh has done since Saleh was here. So
yeah.
And then if he's changing personnel within the coaching ranks, I mean, talk about like things being the same over a really long period of time, no matter who the DC was.
Why do you think they got rid of Bullocks?
Maybe they weren't completely happy with the way the defensive backs played last year, because they did. I mean,
mostly play, maybe
the safety play was horrendous. I mean, Renata Green was super inconsistent. Even Demo Lenore took a step back last year. He struggled a bit. I don't know how much you can blame your defensive backs when you have no pass rush. That's the thing.
That's why I don't understand why they would cut him this year. That's kind of, or not cut
him. He was gone before this, but right after the season ended. Like he was already off the website.
Yeah.
So this is a move that's been happening. So I don't know who their DB coach is going to be. I don't know if Joe Woods comes back, because Joe Woods was here before.
Yeah.
And maybe Joe Woods goes, because Joe Woods was one of the names mentioned that we would have been super pissed if they hired.
Yeah.
But could end up making his way back to the 49ers as a defensive backs coach. So that is interesting. Like the fact that there's change happening with Morris within his own ranks and things we're going to see from the defense, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the Saleh, D'Amico, even Sorensen. Sorensen kind of pretty much ran the same stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I really wanted to see is change. I wanted to see difference. I mean, this marriage to this Seattle defense all these years, this wide nine, we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's time and it's changing.
Yeah, I think we have to wait to see what they say, because it really does seem like Kyle is very, very particular on them sticking with this type of scheme. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing that we ran years ago, because honestly, with Saleh, like in the beginning of the season when we still had defensive players that had a heartbeat, we were seeing some mix up of stuff, right? Like some different fronts, some exotic looks and stuff like that. So like it does give you hope that he does give Morris more leeway to do what he wants to do and mix stuff up, because Saleh seemed to be doing that. And then once we started losing bodies, they just had to play it safe. They couldn't execute these complex schemes and stuff. I just think they just didn't have the experience and the talent to run it. So
he is a player's coach, though. It's what a lot of people say, and he will acquiesce to the talent, which means he'd be willing to take they were talking about how guys like Fred Warner and Demo really feed off of leadership that is passionate.
Yeah.
And he is definitely one of those guys who's passionate. No one's going to be as passionate, as, of course, as Robert Saleh. He's just a different kind of cat.
Yeah.
But like, we've been married to the same defensive scheme a decade. And if I always welcome any type of change, I don't know what's going to happen with the wide nine. It'd be kind of weird to keep changing DC and just kind of keep leaving everybody the same and not make any changes whatsoever within your ranks of defensive coaches. So it'd be interesting to see in the next couple weeks before we get to free agency and the draft if we see any changes to the defensive staff under Raheem Morris. If he is the catalyst for people going, people coming, because then you really could say, okay, he's bringing fresh eyes, he's bringing fresh ideas. It's not going to just be plug and play, new name, same defense.
Yeah.
Like, I know Kyle is married to that Seattle, front four where you rush four and you drop everybody else in the coverage. Maybe he's willing to come off of that, and we'll see. I mean, he really trusts Morris. They've known each other a long time. They got arrested together back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
One was Morris was wrongfully arrested because they profiled him wrong, and he got out of it. And then Kyle was actually cited for was it like public intoxication or something? So yeah, I was right. I think it was. I forgot exactly when it was, but yeah, they were. That's how close they are. They were out at a bar hanging out. So
yeah. See, like what David said right there, I was just gonna say, I wonder how that affects this past year's draft if they decide to try to change stuff up. Like, does this throw that draft kind of like out the window? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Saleh had an idea of what he wanted to run, so I'm pretty sure he drafted those guys to fit something. So how much change are they willing to do with all these new defensive linemen?
David said they drafted Collins and West, 2 nose tackle types last year. So, I mean, essentially, when you run a 3-4, it's like 3 big ass defensive linemen, and then you have your rushers on the outside. It is true. I mean, like Bosa, I don't know if he necessarily would want to be a stand-up linebacker, but
he absolutely would not. He would object wholeheartedly to that.
What if it helped save his career, though, where his hand wasn't, where he was, standing up instead of having to.
He's perfected that get off like to the T. I don't know. I think one of your highest paid players, he might actually be the highest paid player on the team cap-wise next year. But yeah, if he doesn't agree, I don't know. And then you got to see how Fred is good with it too. I don't know if Fred is gonna be all jumping for joy, changing up the scheme, but
yeah, but he's not specifically one schemer or another.
Yeah.
So they could run a very much of a hybrid look next year.
Yeah.
So
and have him blitz a lot more. And I know Fred likes to blitz. He's, he works on his pass rush moves and all that stuff. So
we'll see.
Glad. My main thing, Aaron, is so when I started looking into it, I know I'm starting off super negative right now.
It's okay.
I just got to get it all out, and then I can move to the positive.
You're going based on his track record. His track record isn't great. If you listen to Emmanuel Acho, who I can't stand, he started his piece on him and said he's got a Super Bowl champ. He's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. And then he talked about all the statistics and how they're not super flattering. Yeah. He does have a Super Bowl championship as a defense coordinator under his belt.
I think 2
something
of them. One with Tampa, I think, as well.
possibly. I don't know if he was a defensive coordinator at the time. He might have been. I'm not sure. Didn't do the deep dive. But thing I'm saying is like nobody we've had here before had that track record. So technically, he's already ahead of the game. And he's going to be a pair of fresh eyes. He's going to be a pair fresh ideas coming in, and I'm willing to give
Brandon
Staley
Staley was a Super Bowl champion too, wasn't he?
Brandon Staley?
Didn't he with the Rams? Didn't he win one with the Rams or no? Was he still on there?
You said he was there the year before.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then when he left, then they won the Super Bowl with.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let me see. Now I'm curious. But anyway, my thing with this is I started looking more into it, and I'm like, okay, who is Raheem Morris? Every video or everything I try to look at, the first thing that would come out would be he's best friends with Kyle Shanahan. He's a player's coach. And I'm like, those are the 2 things I don't want to hear from a new defensive coordinator. I don't care if he's best friends with Kyle. I don't care if players like him. Players like a lot of coaches that are not good, right? It's like, can he field a top 5 defense? Are people saying, oh man, you got to look at, he's a defensive genius. Oh, he's a defensive guru. He's, this and this scheme, and oh, he can do this and he can do that and all that stuff. But I don't want to hear, oh, you know what, guys? Guess what? He's best friends with Kyle Shanahan. That's the top thing that they're saying about him. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, but you have to remember how bad Kyle didn't get along with Steve Wilks. And yeah, Steve Wilks had a really good defense under him. And they got to the Super Bowl and almost won it. But he was out the door immediately after that Super Bowl because he butted heads with Kyle. Here's the thing: you have some veteran players on this defense. I think the last thing any veteran player wants to do is deal with some staunch, pissy, miserable, old head defensive coordinator when they've already kind of established themselves in the league. I don't think Bosa or Warner would want to deal with that sort of trash, like having to deal with that kind of personality. Players coach, I know it kind of doesn't sound like a real disciplined bunch, and that they might the inmates might run the asylum type of thing. I just don't foresee that happening. He's got head coach experience. No. He's been a head coach. I think his head coaching experience is actually going to serve him well because he's seen all parts of it, and now he only has to worry about the defense. He doesn't have to worry about the offense. He doesn't have to worry about special teams. His job is to come here with a fresh pair of eyes and ideas, and maybe some new guys within the coaching ranks, and bring something that the Niners haven't seen before. He's way more versatile with how he calls his defense compared to all the other people that were here. As good as Saleh was, we knew what we were getting from Saleh. Rush 4, and you play zone behind it. And you make teams beat you down the field. And if you have a good pass rush, it could cause turnovers because you have to throw in those zones. So when there's rush, those zones become harder to throw into. Yeah. When there's no rush, zone defense is like, dying a slow death. So, his track record isn't sexy, but waiting for Jim Schwartz to come undone from Cleveland would have been the dumbest move possible. So in a way, they got the right guy, but they got the guy that made the most sense.
And the best available option.
And he was the best available option. I know that sounds like a really crappy way to sell something to people. Like he was the best option available, but it really was the case.
It was. It definitely was. That's why I
Joe Woods. Who's Joe Woods?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about him.
Yeah. That's why I can't get too mad about it. It's just like, it's one of those things where, if you're looking up like a guy you really like in the draft, and like, they're like, oh, okay, what is he good at? And they're like, oh, the dude is really like a defensive tackle, right? And they're like, dude, this guy has a vertical jump that's crazy. I'm like, bro, I don't care about his vertical jump. Can he sack the goddamn quarterback? Like, is he good at rushing the passer? I don't care if he can run through cones at a certain speed. Does he produce?
He runs at 4.37.
Yeah,
like he sacked the quarterback. Like, I don't care about.
But he has 0 sacks. Like, I don't care. Like, can he sack the quarterback? I want to know if he's good at what we're drafting him to do. That's kind of like my thing with Raheem, right? Like, yeah, I know he has all these good qualities, but is he actually good at the job that we're bringing him into? And the track record shows he's been very mediocre. But like you said, it brings new ideas. Him and Kyle should be on the same page, have more of an open dialogue of what they expect this defense to look like in the future. And I would hate to say that I would think that they would have to have asked Nick Bosa or Fred Warner what they thought,
Sure.
right?
You're always
I'm
going to talk to
guessing.
your veterans before making a move.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they gave the okay. And
He's
Raheem has
well respected around the league.
very respected, right? Even from ex players and
A lot of
ownership
people
and
like
stuff.
him.
He's very respected.
It means a lot, man, because yeah, maybe some past units weren't that great, but you're going to have players that want to play for a guy like him.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they'd be willing to listen and be open to new ideas, maybe formations, how they line up, whatever. If you come in and you're this, and I know I'm trying to sell Schwartz short. I would have loved to have had him as a DC. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that's what everybody wanted. You wanted it. I wanted it. Sterling wanted it. Dre wanted it. Everybody wanted Schwartz. It was just never going to happen. And if it did happen, we would have had to wait a really long time before we got a chance to know. He's still in Cleveland right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So
another positive thing too is, there was word that Sean McVay had an open invitation to Morris that if he didn't get the job in Arizona and Chris Shula got a head coaching job, that he was going to bring him back as the DC. So I think that's a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Recommendation, right? That Sean McVay was willing to bring him back this year.
Yeah.
If Chris Shula happened to leave. So that's
the
pretty
other
good.
thing. The other thing too is going to be interesting to see a new fresh pair of eyes when it comes to draft.
Yes.
Defensive coordinator is going to be very involved in all the college scouting that they're going to be doing in the next couple weeks. All the scouts are going to get together with the new DC, and the DC is going to tell you, I want these kind of guys. Can you give me this type of personnel? And then, free agency coming up too. I'm excited because there's just a different energy that's going to be, it's not going to be the same on defense. And quite frankly, dude, I love Saleh to death last year, but like they were pretty freaking awful at some points on defense. And I know they had a lot of.
You got to remember how they looked in the beginning to the end. The beginning, they looked.
Were they that great in the beginning, though? Were they that good?
They were pretty.
They were okay. They still were getting gashed in the run game early in the season.
They looked pretty good. I mean, they had rookies that they had to play. You got to remember that too, right? And the defensive line that he had to work with even early on was pretty mediocre. In the middle, you had guys making their first starts in the NFL.
What do we have? Kalia Davis playing starting tackle.
Jordan Elliott and
Elliott.
Yeah, those are not.
That's one thing that needs this year coming into free agency or draft. Can we get rid of those guys? The most average at best.
Yes.
Like start West, start Collins, start Michael, start Bosa, and get a bunch of depth and other players behind it. Maybe, I mean, the way I look at it, if they do run a traditional 4-3, they can still take Michael and kick him inside on pass rushing downs if they can bring in another edge rusher.
Which is what Michael's good at, right?
Michael is very strong. He's really good against the run.
Yeah. And I would rather have him go up against a guard instead of a tackle. He's very much Eric Armstead-ish. Yeah.
He's got that, the size, the length. He's very long as a player, 6'5".
Yeah.
So, man, I mean, new DC, new eyes, maybe some new coordinators, draft, free agency. Stuff's going to be different, bro. It's not going to be the same, and I'm okay with that. I think a lot of fans have kind of grown tired of the wide nine and the dropping blitz, blitzing forward, dropping 8, playing zone behind it all the time. It's kind of basic ass defense. It's like basic. Yeah. So it'd be nice to see something different. come down the pipeline.
Yeah, and
Now,
he has a good history of drafting. In the Rams, he drafted like two good safeties, Lake and who's the other guy? Jesus, I have to look it up. But he drafted Hardy, the linebacker. He was a late pick. He drafted Yeast, another DB. Who else? Quentin Lake, Kendrick. I mean, he has good scouting. Like, look what he did with Atlanta this year. You know what I mean? Like those two pass rushers. Yeah, I think it'll be a net positive as far as draft goes.
it's like he
Especially,
hasn't. It's like he hasn't been able to take his talent evaluation and kind of meet it with his calling of a defense yet. So who
yeah,
knows? Maybe this year is the perfect mix. Like he gets the personnel. John and Kyle get him whatever he wants, and he's able to make it happen. But overall, I'm happy with the move, but I'm not delusionally happy to where I'm coming in this with like super high expectation, and he's going to be the second coming of like Monty Kiffin in Tampa. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a different defense. It's going to look different. They're going to play different.
yeah.
There could be new coaches, and there's definitely going to be some new personnel because they need a lot of talent on defense, bro. They are talent bereft. They're bereft
Especially
of
if they're
talent.
trying to transform this defense into something a little bit different, they have to find personnel to fit it. So,
Some other coaching news, though, we got the Rams have extended Les Snead and McVay.
damn it.
They're not going anywhere, people.
Damn
We're
it.
going to have to still deal with them. Right now, they're trying to figure out if Stafford is coming back. So if you guys got voodoo dolls and you believe in that sort of stuff, you need to bring out you got to do something to make sure Stafford doesn't come back, because then that means Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be their starting quarterback next year. So
Yep.
you got to think about that, people. You got to think about that. You get 2 games with Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, you might have a chance. Although technically, I mean, he would have all the same weapons. So it's not like Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't know how to play with a bunch of weapons. He does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I still think we could beat them twice a year, but yeah, so he's back. And then we got who else here? We got Mike LaFleur has been hired as the Cards coach. So essentially the whole NFC West, other than the Seahawks, is all Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan light coaches. And the one team that is the team to beat us is Seahawks, because they got the coach that knows how to stop that type of offense. It would have been cool if we would have gotten Schwartz, that we would have kind of had our version of that, but it didn't happen. So yeah.
And who gashed Raheem this year?
I'm not sure.
Kyle Shanahan.
That's right.
In his offense. The one game we had our run game going was against Atlanta. Aye. Yeah.
Mike has to look at it from a realistic perspective. Howdy 49ers. If the Niners get Joe Woods as secondary coach, that would be a massive upgrade. It would. Yeah. Bullocks has been out the door for a while, from what people are saying.
Yeah.
Bullocks has been out the door for a while. They must have not liked him very much.
Something must have happened, huh?
To scrub somebody off of like your official, I don't know exactly what it said or where he was listed, but he was like, it's like he never existed.
Maybe he's stuck up for Renardo Green after the Seattle match or something.
Yeah, that would have been a bad move, because he's an absolutely man.
Yeah. Something they must have had a big disagreement or something.
I told you if I would have been Renardo Green's coach and he was giving me that look, I would have punched. I said it on when I was with you guys last week. I would have punched him in the face.
Yep.
Like if I'm talking to a youngster and I'm trying to impart knowledge on a young buck, and he gives me that sort of look, I'm gonna punch him in the face, because are you paying attention to me, or what are you looking at? Like, yeah. So Kyle, I give you props for not punching him in the face, because my reaction when I'm getting disrespected by a young buck is to punch him in the face. But that's me. I want to bring up the video. Everybody in this chat knows I respect his grind. Grant Cohn, he's very popular. He's got a huge following and platform. He makes money. I don't per se like him. I don't like his approach. I don't like the people he surrounds himself with, but I got to give him props to what he does. He actually was on 95.7 a game, and he had a really interesting take about how 49ers, the 49ers, like front office and everybody kind of perceive themselves against when you compare them to the previous regime of Eddie DeBartolo, and it's pretty shocking because he thinks that a lot of these younger 49er fans never got to really see what a owner like Eddie DeBartolo is really like, and what kind of both he was willing to put up with and what he wasn't willing to put up with. So I want to play this real quick.
Kaepernick, Alex, there's so many different guys. They're a lightning rod. But I feel like we're not talking about them enough as well in this discussion of a 31-year drought.
But I think that's also a function of the Yorks, too. Like, they're so eager to show that they've accomplished what the DeBartolos accomplished. Like, we have our franchise quarterback. Oh, they had Joe Montana and Steve Young. Well, guess what? We have Colin Kaepernick. Oh, okay, he didn't work out, but we have Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, okay, well, he was kind of a fugazi, but we have Brock Purdy. And it's like, and on and on and on. We have Levi's Stadium. They couldn't put together a stadium. It seems very much like they're trying to prove that they were better than the previous regime when they're so clearly not. Thank God for Eddie DeBartolo for saying I wouldn't, because it's time for the younger Bay Area sports fans to understand who Eddie DeBartolo is and what he stood for. If the Niners, if he were the owner when they lost the Super Bowl after the Harbaugh year, after the first Shanahan year, he would have made significant changes. And maybe he would have been wrong, but that's just who he was. The Yorks have been too complacent with their incomplete formula. And it's nice that Eddie called them out, man, even though it's his family.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Eddie DeBartolo. How do you think he would have handled, free agency and the salary cap and all that? Because he didn't have to deal with that, Grant, back in his time.
No, but I mean, look at the salary cap. It goes up so much every year. Do the Eagles really acknowledge the salary cap? They figured out so many ways to work around it and spend all the money they need. I think he would have done that too. I think he would have found a way to get Matthew Stafford instead of letting the Rams get him and have him be in his division. He was so aggressive. He wouldn't, I don't know. That maybe I'm wrong. There's no evidence of it. He left early on in the salary cap era, but I don't think he would have held on to one salary cap guru for 27 years. He probably would have made an adjustment. That's the thing about him. It seemed like if they were close, they were close in 92 and 93, but that wasn't good enough. So he went and made a bunch of changes in 1994, brought in Deion Sanders. I haven't seen Jed York do that and say, you know what, we're close. That's not good enough. We got to make a change. Here's my decision. Eddie did that and was right. And Jed, I don't know if he's scared or it just isn't equipped. We'll see.
Mike, I 100% agree on everything he has to say.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of Grant's.
No, he's right. I think
Eddie was a different type of owner, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
every type, like the moves, I like. There's like two sections of a 49er fan base. There's the ones that are like the draft. We got to build through the draft. The draft is super important. You can't buy your players in free agency. You'll never win a Super Bowl that way. So the Niners have been predominantly draft all the time, right? A couple free agents here. They'll make the one move and then they'll make another move here. But like the Matt Stafford move would have never happened under his ownership. They would have gotten him signed. How can you go to bed at night in your mind and think, we got this guy. We'll wait till the morning and then we'll sign him. Like it's a dog-eat-dog world, the NFL. And you knew that the Rams, it's always been Kyle and it's always been McVay. He would have made that move. He would have signed him as a quarterback.
Yep.
And you would have worried about the salary cap later. And you would have worried about draft picks later. Your goal as an owner is to win the fucking Super Bowl.
Yes.
That's your goal.
Yep. That's the thing with Eddie is he wasn't just an owner. He was a super fan, right? He wasn't just like, oh, this is my business. I'm going to run it, to maximize profit, this and that. He was the biggest 49er fan that ever lived. And he was aggressive in his attempt to make the team as good as possible, just like how a super fan would be, right? Like, we need to get the best players. We need to get everyone in here. I want to win the damn Super Bowl. Oh, the Cowboys keep. Oh, you know what? This is an arms race. We're gonna go toe to toe, and if they get one, we're gonna get one. If they get two, we're gonna get two. So that's what I loved about Eddie. Even though I wasn't alive really for most of his tenure with the 49ers, but watching everything that I've watched about him and just seeing his passion for the team and his affection and then when they would lose, his heartbreak, like he was the ultimate fan. And
I've told you about the 87 playoffs.
Yeah.
They lost. Yep. They were the number one seed, the number one team in the NFC. They were hosting home field advantage. Vikings came in and beat their ass. And Walsh was going to get fired on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmen Policy
saved his ass.
Stopped him. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the next year, what happened? We won the Super Bowl.
Won it.
And then Walsh retired, and then we won another Super Bowl. And then we got back to the NFC Championship game, and we're a Montana injury and a Craig fumble away from going to 3 Super Bowls in a row and possibly winning them. So it was just a different era. Mike, freshman year in high school was 94 for me, right? So
okay,
losing to the Dallas Cowboys 2 years in a row sucked. It sucked. And remember the summer of 94, watching the 49ers essentially go out and buy their defense. They drafted Lee Woodall. They went out and got Gary Plummer. They went out and got Ken Norton. They brought in Toy Cook. They brought in Ricky Jackson. They brought in Richard Dent. On offense, you know, they had a pretty set offense. They had Ricky Waters. They had their fullback who eventually, he didn't start it. I don't think Floyd started the year as a fullback. I still think it was Mark Logan. Possibly. Don't quote me on this. And then eventually became Floyd. And then, of course, you had Jerry Rice, John Taylor, and Brent Jones. And then the move of moves. How do you beat the team who's been beating the last 2 years? You go and get the best defensive player to help take them out. Hired gun. What happens? They only got him for 1 year. And what do? They go and they beat them. And they were the first team to have 5. Dallas ended up getting it the following year and tying them, but they were still number 1 to get 5. That was an interesting time. Like there was another year where we brought in like Kevin Green. We already had Chris Dolman. We brought in Rod Woodson. Like that's just what he was, man.
Yeah.
That's just what he was.
Oh man. I wish we had an owner like that. But now they seem very competent in hosting Super Bowls where your team is not playing in them, right? For other teams, making it to NFC Championship games, making it to the playoffs because you get extra revenue for playoff games at home. Going international now, right? Oh, we have a huge fan base internationally. We keep that money coming in, and we can tie it with soccer because the 49ers are tied with this team in Europe and blah blah blah. Did
you hear about the new news that came down today? El Guido is the new CEO of the 49ers.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I don't even know what his job, if it's changed at all, if it's just a title change.
You think Jed maybe takes a step back a little bit, or John takes a little bit of his responsibility?
I wonder if he becomes John's boss. Because let's be honest, guys, if they have another season like they had this season and they fall short of the mark and they go out and spend a bunch of money and miss on a bunch of draft picks, someone has to leave. It's not going to be Kyle.
No,
it's going to be John.
Well, they haven't extended him, right?
They have. I'm not sure if they've extended him.
No, dude, this is last year of his contract, I think.
There's a lot of moving pieces right now, and I'm not sure what's happening. Well, it'd be interesting to see if the Niners fall short again when it comes to drafting, or they just biff it and they suck. Like this draft this year, Mike, has to hit like no other draft has hit.
Oh yeah.
They have to hit
just like they said last year had to hit, and that was like a C+ draft, maybe. And they're like,
but I still think we got at least 3 starters out of that draft: CJ West, Alfred Collins, and Upton Stout. They're starters to me. 4 if Michael stayed healthy. That's not bad, dude. It's not bad. Are they stars? Not yet. Could they become stars? Maybe.
We had 11 draft picks?
Yeah.
How many blue chippers do we get out of that?
We don't know yet. I'm just saying, like, we'll see. Larry Krueger did make a point where he says every year he thinks the Niners have a good draft, and then he looks at it a couple years later and he's like, wow, that draft sucked. I have an incomplete feeling about this past year's draft because I don't know. I want to see what I would love to see what CJ West, Alfred Collins, and Upton Stout look like with good players around them.
Yeah.
Not average players.
Yes.
Because maybe they are role players. Maybe they're really good.
When they have, Jordan Elliott and Keon White
right
next to them. So
what is going on, Mr. Brent Smith? It's been a while. Howdy 49ers says it was an era of excellence. It was just expected to compete for the Super Bowl every year. That's the thing, too. Like, okay, so like there was this interview that happened many years ago, probably 20 years ago. It was George Steinbrenner. And the guy asked him, are you a sore loser? And he was like, yes, I am. I hate to lose. And his famous line, I know you've heard it before, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah.
I love that saying.
Yeah.
The Niners under Jed York to some extent and John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they've been a good loser.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got there. Like that. Yep. I hate hearing that for 49er fans. Yep. You have to learn to enjoy the ride, man. Like, no, I want to win. I'm sick of enjoying the ride, dude. Every year that I put up with us not winning a Super Bowl, I'm just getting older and older and more grouchy. Like, I can't sustain this.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I agree.
Why don't the 49ers make changes to the training staff and training room? Players Association has them as 25th in the league.
That's what should be asked at the owners meeting. The
brother, casual. I wish I could tell you, because that's all I bitch and moan about all year, every single year. Is
These
about
beat
the
writers need to ask Kyle, what are you guys gonna do about this injury situation and the training staff and the way that you do things? What have you found out during? Because John Lynch said, right? Oh, we're gonna look at everything. Okay, what'd you guys find? What'd you find?
Dude, they're coming into a really important free agency period. They better figure out that substation trash.
Yeah. Like, hey, you guys were ranked 25th. What are you guys doing to up that standard a little bit? You guys keep calling yourself the gold standard and, everybody's family, and we strive to have the best of the best. Well, you guys are ranked 25th. So have you guys made any changes?
Yeah. The Eddie situation where Eddie kind of was like, I wouldn't to lose 31 years in a row. I'm kind of happy that happened.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I like the energy. I like the uncomfortable energy that kind of creates.
But I don't think Jed gives a shit. I really don't. I think he saw that and was probably like, I don't care. I'm rich. You know what I mean? You think it really bothers him?
Mike, I think Jed does care, but he's afraid because of what happened, which would happen with Harbaugh. He's afraid. He's afraid that if he pulls the trigger on either the coach or the GM, that's it. He made the biggest mistake they could have ever made choosing Trent Baalke over Jim Harbaugh. It was the worst mistake he ever made.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was. Jed does care about money, but Jed wants to win. Trust me, he wants to win. He wants a legacy too. I don't know if
I feel like he feels like
he's
like he's arrived. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we've gone to 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
We have NFC championships. I've hosted Super Bowls. I've built a new stadium. I'm the big cheese. You know what I mean? Like,
I like
the one thing I missed is the Super Bowl, but I've done everything else.
That's why this past season, the way it ended, and the fact that the Super Bowl is in your house and you're not there, the Niners look like dopes right now. They look like dopes.
The Seattle Seahawks have their goddamn name painted in our end zone. What the? Come on.
Yes.
Man.
But that needs to happen sometimes. Sometimes you have to be shooken out of, they say, what is it? Like shooken out of apathy.
Yeah.
Like if you're so distraught and down all the time, something needs to shake you out of it to kind of give you that vigor with life. Well, maybe something will shake you out of like professional, not apathy, but what's the word when you become complacency?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, we got to the Super Bowl and we have a nice stadium and we have a pretty good roster. And
I feel like that's how he feels. I don't see that that passion from him. Like, like, hey, we got our ass kicked by our own division, our division rival. Now they're hosting a Super Bowl in our goddamn stadium, and they're probably going to win it. You would think that would light a fire under his ass. And if that checkbook doesn't come out and they make some drastic all-in moves to try to go win one in the Rams stadium this coming season, then you know Jed is complacent. Because
so 49er fans, what are we going to do? How are we going to change this?
That should light a fire under any owner's ass, right? Like, I don't know. To me,
do we have to fly a plane over the top of Levi's and tell everybody we got to fire Jed York?
Geez, I know.
Give the team, have a plane that says give the team back to Eddie.
But there's nothing more that would light a fire underneath your ass than what's happening right now. If he's that kind of guy, right? There's really there's nothing
like
worse.
My old uncle just showed me up and made me his bitch. You know, like the famous promo with The Rock and John Cena, and he says, "John Cena, you will always be The Rock's bitch."
Yeah,
and right now, Jed York, you're your uncle's bitch.
Yeah.
Because you have no Super Bowls. And your uncle just dropped like a freaking he just dropped a card like somebody drops a challenge in a fight where like the glove hits the ground. He just dropped it. It's your call, dude. How are you going to react?
Yep.
What are you willing to do this coming season, free agency, whatever, to make sure that you're in SoFi next year representing the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Because your uncle just pretty much bitched you out.
Exactly.
Like a punk. And you have to respond, right? Doesn't he?
Yep. You would think. But we'll see.
I don't know about you. I don't know about you because we're close in age. Somebody challenges you a fight in front of a bunch of people. There's two things you could do. You could either be a bitch and not fight them, or even if you take a butt whooping, you still take the challenge, and then whatever happens after that happens. Most people with a set of stones, even if they know they're about to get their head kicked, then are going to accept the fight. What is he going to do? Is he going to tuck his tail between his legs and go hide? Because I feel like he's hidden to some extent ever since John and Kyle took over because he's afraid of what'll happen. Yeah. He's afraid if he loses Kyle's going to go sign somewhere else and they're going to come and beat the 49ers.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why he doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So don't do anything to Kyle. Do something to John. If John has another failure draft or free agencies say they have a good draft, but free agency was a bust, that's still fireable offense.
Yeah.
We've reached a point now where like real stuff has to start happening.
Yeah.
Like real things. Like
someone
gets fired.
I want to see Jed York pissed when Seattle hosts that goddamn Lombardi in our stadium.
I hope Seattle completely like does something to the locker room or like graffiti something. Yeah, I want to see him get mad.
Like, you know what? Not happening.
I'm 25, so as far as I'm concerned, this team is 0-3 in Super Bowls. I've only ever experienced above average teams. That gives constant disappointment. Yeah, I lived through the winning. My early to mid to late adolescence was great. I mean, the Bulls were winning championships. I was a Jordan fan, so that was great. I live in New York, so the Yankees were winning world championships, and the 49ers were good too. So like the first, I would say, 20 years of my life or so when it came to sports was fantastic. The last like 30 or so, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. So Joseph, I'm sorry that you've had I have a nephew who's turns 30 this year. He was born the summer of 1995. All he's ever experienced is 49ers losses. He's never experienced the winning. It's tough, man.
31 years, man.
I remember walking through high school after he won that Super Bowl like a cockatoo with like my feathers just boom. Like, and there wasn't, what are you going to say to me? Your team sucks. I remember there was these Steelers fans that were like, if our team would have been in there, we would have beat you. And I'm like, wait, but
you weren't.
The Chargers team that you couldn't beat, we almost dropped a 50 burger on them.
Yeah.
So where was the logic?
Yeah.
And then of course the argument was gone. Like you couldn't beat the team that we just dropped 50 on. Like, come on. It was that kind of energy in high school for at least freshman year where I could walk around with my 49er stuff and nobody said anything.
Yep.
And all I had to say is we have 5. And the problem is it's been 31 years and all I could say is we have 5.
5.
Still.
Oh, man.
Peter Parker. I was 9 years old watching the title game in '94. My dad passed away in 2007. Sorry to hear that. Mine passed in 2013. So I know the feeling.
I watched this team go on 3.
I watched this team going through. It sucks. That was a tough Super Bowl. Me and my nephew really had a hard time with that one against the Ravens. The one that broke my heart the most was the last one.
Yeah, mine too.
That I was in a really, really depressive state.
I felt like we had it. I couldn't believe. I was like, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen," and it just slipped away. And I was like,
I let my mind go there too. I let their mind go there too. I was like, we actually can win this. And then over the course of like the next 15 minutes, it was just like,
yeah.
Want to see the younger generation experience the success. Sucks these younger fans haven't experienced true Niner vibe. No, it's awesome. It was a great time, man. Yep. I haven't watched. I'm waiting for it to complete. I'm gonna go. I want to watch. My mom was she wasn't really a 49ers fan, but she likes Joe Montana and stuff. So we're gonna sit down and watch the rise of the 49ers.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for it to complete, and then I got like a free 7 days of like A&E Plus so that I can watch. I just like watch it whenever I want, and then I'll cancel it. But yeah, this team under Jed and Kyle are okay with settling for mediocrity, and it's starting to seep into the fan base. Getting to the Super Bowl and losing is not a great achievement. F the participant. Yeah, and I get beaten up on this all the time. People beat me up on this all the time. They say I'm unhappy, that I expect perfection, that you can't win it all the time, and that I need to like somehow lower my expectations. I'm like, what are you talking about? Professional sports, if you are in the business of professional sports, there's two types of owners. There's owners that are only in professional sports to make money. And then there's the owners that are in professional sports because they know their job in sports is to win a championship. That's your only objective as an owner, is to win the championship. Whatever, NBA, MLB, whatever. Dad, I don't understand. You're right. The fan base, and it's a lot of, I can't say older fans. It's like some of the Gen Z fans who haven't experienced the winning. Like they're almost okay with getting kind of close, but like being competitive. They're like, would you rather us be competitive every single year, or would you rather us sell out one whole year just to win one? And I'm like, let's sell out one whole year just to win one. I'm at that point.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
If somebody told you the 49ers were going to win 2 Super Bowls and then we'd suck for 10 years, would you be okay with that?
All about it. Give me one.
Give me
one for 30 years. I don't give a shit. Just give me one.
Right. Tell me in the chat before we get out of here. If somebody told you you had a choice, John doesn't challenge Jed. No, he does not. I agree. If you're not first, you're last. Yep, exactly. 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls were lost. We had double-digit leads. Yep. How about give me a dynasty? How about I agree?
Give me one.
No, I just want one.
One more. I want my son to experience it. I want to experience it one more time.
How old's your son?
4. But he's hardcore, man. He knows all the players' names. He knows their jersey numbers.
See, guys, that's how you raise a son right.
Yeah, he's all about it. The Niners playing? I'm like, no, they're not playing this weekend. They're out. He's like, oh, okay.
I have 2 nieces that are really not into football, but one of them will wear the 49ers hat for when they were younger, before they became teenagers. And one would wear the 49ers. Sometimes, depending, they would both wear 49er stuffs or use like, hey, you want a blanket? I got a 49er throw cover or something. And I was just like, yes. My nephew's like, get away from them. You've already got your oldest nephew because my oldest nephew is a diehard 49ers fan.
Okay.
And my brother's like, get away from the girls. They're mine. I want them to be Dolphins fans. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Fair.
Hey, Peter Parker, I just want to hung Aaron at a Super Bowl parade. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'd be so open to that.
Oh yeah.
Just to relieve the stress of just being there and finally doing it. I could just be like, and I could be happy for like 6 months or a year.
Yep.
Because it's just every year is like, that's why the guys this year were really getting on me. Like, you're not enjoying the ride and stuff. And it was just like, I don't think you guys realize what football does to me when we don't win. It kills me. It's like
hard,
really
man.
two grown men crying together. Absolutely. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd be crying.
I would
I
cry.
don't drink. I'm straight edge. I don't drink or smoke. I might actually drink a beer or something with one of you guys. Just like
I would definitely cry. That's 100%
Yeah.
happening.
But
Yeah.
all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I think people in my house need to go to sleep, so I need to shut up. So
Yeah.
everybody, have a great rest of your week. Keep you guys in touch. What's going on the next couple weeks with content starting to slow down. But me and Mike will have a podcast in the future coming that is called 49ers. Oh my God, I forgot the name. 49ers Unfiltered.
Yeah.
49ers Unfiltered. We'll get a overlay, an intro, all that happy stuff. But everybody have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time, everybody, go Niners. Peace.
Go Niners. Good night.